All right, Jinwai is here, right? So Jinwai?
Yes.
All right, okay. Thank you very much there, right, for those attendance. Okay. So as you guys actually have been go through before there, okay. Anyone have any questions about our project 2 there, right? Any questions? Okay, for our project 2 is over here. So let me recall back again, okay. This project 2 basically going to we have around 2 weeks there, okay, around 2 weeks there, okay. To complete there, okay. There are only 5 drawings that you actually have to be complete, but you need to develop also some of the sketches and the basic structures to study before you get to add some detail there, okay. But those kind of basic structures will basically came from the main objective there, okay, is how actually you develop your understanding, which based from those reference that you're going to draw, okay. Because I actually have been go through with some of your frameworks, okay, before this, okay, for the rest of these 3 days there, okay, which is I actually have been go through with your friends, kind of what we call that studies over here. If you guys can see back again there, right? Where is it there, right? Right, this is some of your friends, kind of what we call that drawings, which based on those the previous kind of what we call that project that we did there, right? So what basically I have been acknowledged there, okay, and also evaluate based on my kind of evaluations, okay. Some of you guys love. I love to see some of the students basically have been experiment with the tools, with the techniques, with the methods at the same time, okay. But if you take a look basically closely there, okay, the things that we always wanted to improve, okay, from these what we call that lessons. It's all about how you controlling the tools and how actually you move your hand according to the strokes and to the shades and shadows that you actually going to be applied, okay, from those kind of exercise there, okay. So I can see basically some of you guys still struggling to develop that kind of strokes, okay, which is most of the obvious kind of what we call that part, right, like hairline, eyebrows, and even though the right kind of proportions, okay, from a certain kind of what we call that elements there, like eyes, nose, and lips there, right, okay, lips there, obviously there, right, okay. But the point is right now, okay, if I want to recall back again, what we're trying to study here is all about the foundations here, okay, the foundations, okay, how to develop and improve back then your drawing strokes, okay, your drawing strokes here. So this is basically what we actually want to overcome them back. And I would wish basically, okay, most of you guys and some of you guys slowly are going to be improved more and more how to handling basically your own drawing skills in the right way, in the proper way there, right, okay. That's basically my main objective. I don't actually ask for more. I didn't ask for everyone have to do perfectly been uh, looking super realistic there, okay. But of course there, okay, all that kind of understanding, okay. For example, that some of you guys might say there, okay, I want to achieve those realistic kind of drawings there, okay. Those kind of realistic kind of drawings or outcome there, okay, it will be came out naturally there, okay. But you don't actually push yourself or stress yourself to develop that kind of perfections but you should actually develop your kind of methods and technique first in the right way, and look carefully to your reference while basically you draw them there, right? Okay, look carefully to your reference over here, right? Because whatever that you need to draw will basically is in front of you there, right? Using the layers there, you just need basically to figure it out how to move your hands accordingly in the right way to develop this certain kind of strokes. That's the thing that you should basically improve there, okay, and develop it, okay. And of course, for all this kind of what we call that reference that I gave you guys, they have a certain kind of challenging there, okay, challenges there, okay, that we can basically solve them in the most way that actually have been shown you guys there before. Okay, so look carefully when you draw them, because one of the most important thing that people always ignore there, right? Okay, when they want to learn to illustrate or design or drawings there, is they basically ignoring their own observations. The time that they spend to look at those reference is less than they try to basically draw them as quickly as they want them, okay? They just want to complete them, and then they want to close the books, and they want to think about it anymore. You're not actually quite learn to look carefully to your reference, for example, right? Okay. So if you actually look carefully, all the elements that you might going to be drawn, okay, from this reference, using the techniques that I always show you guys how it works, you will discover basically, right, okay, all the details that you might not going to be aware before, right, that you actually take for granted, or you take a glimpse out of it without thinking them back. All right. So when I was like looking at my reference, for example, here, there, okay, if I want to draw them, before basically I'm going to draw them, okay, traditionally or basically digitally there, okay, by practice, we are going to look in detail. You guys can see my reference, my screen there, right? I'm going to take a look there, right? How basically I'm going to draw all this kind of line and stroke together. Okay, the shadow basically will be formed, okay, from the light that cover basically the areas there, okay. How big is it? The flows, the highlights, all these elements that I saw there, okay, will give me basically those kind of what we call that knowledge, and getting more experience and learning experience there by studying all those kind of shapes carefully back again. This is what I do there, guys. Okay, the shadows that form over here. All right, the shapes of the nose there, her eyes there. Basically, I give you guys, okay, even though the image sometimes a bit more pixelated there, okay, when we zoom in there, okay, but it's very quite clear there, guys, okay, that you can study a bit more further from most of the reference. Okay, this is what basically all illustrators, artists, designers basically been studying, guys. It's not all about whatever that you have been portray on the books, but you not actually apply that. Because if we give you guys some of the books, okay, I don't think that you guys will take those time to read by yourself this these days there, okay. But if you have done that, okay, thank you very much, and it's very useful for you to work on that. Okay, so if I want to draw all this kind of element all together back again, guys, okay, I will basically study not only from the surface, but beyond the surface there. See? Beyond the surface there, right? The eyeballs there, okay? The shapes of the eyeball going to be formed then. Because our socket basically from those eyes, okay, those skin on those eyes there, right, okay, basically were being formed by the shapes of our eyeballs there, right? So all these kind of things, sometimes people don't actually get that kind of what we call that. They take for granted there, okay? Because why? Because you used not to understand all this kind of stuff, okay? Maybe some of you guys, yes, okay? So that's why you don't actually figure out carefully how actually you're going to look at things when you draw them. So from here, there, okay, the what we call the iris there, okay, they actually form from this element, from this iris. Okay. If you check look closely there, right, okay, the dimensional of those shapes there, right, okay, the eyeballs there are going to be right here. See, you see that? Okay, the eyeballs there, right? And then when we want to construct basically those line works for these drawings, they're going to be look like this. See, the diagonal line there, right? Not straight line like this there, right? On the eyes there. If you don't trust me there again, or if you don't actually really understand what we call that, sure about it, right? Okay? Try to shoot your face, your own face, on side profiles like this, and then check look how actually your eye is going to be look like on the side profile there, with a very straight kind of what we call positions like this, right? Okay? Straightforward position there, all right? Don't look up, don't look down, okay? But if the person look up a little bit there, right? Okay? For example, if, right? If I'm going to rotate there, right? Okay? This pictures like this, okay? Look up there, right? Bit there. Of course, the diagonal line are going to be changed. Okay? There, see? This is how basically our eyes, our formations of rotations of most of our basic anatomies and physical are going to be changed logically, right? So you need to understand all this kind of what we call that formations there. Not only learn to draw, how to draw those anime, manga styles there, okay, that you fascinate, but you don't deeply understand the whole structures before you're going to design all those characters. That's why I'm not actually quite encourage you guys to draw your own characters there. Your short scenery forward there, okay? It's for nothing there, okay? Learn the foundations, and then you can develop your characters in any time that you want there, right? Okay? Don't worry about that. It's not about you can draw something that you like, but something that you need to learn first to understand that first. Something that we like, it doesn't mean that you understand it, guys. And you don't actually bring any benefit to your kind of lessons, your knowledge, your understanding. And the worst things, your grade and your marks there, right? Okay, this is not basically art jam sessions there, right? Okay, that we give basically children some freedom to draw anything they want, okay? Because we are here basically to understand how to solve some other problems before you get to design and illustrate. Remember that. Not art jamming session there. You want to join my art jamming sessions? Okay, you can join on Sunday maybe later on. Okay, draw anything that you want there, right? Okay, those are the things, there, guys. Okay, remember that. So remember here again, we need to understand about the importance of our lessons over here. So this is one of the things that we actually been covered. Okay, so right now the shapes of it, of these eyebrows. Okay, people always draw something like this. All right, Yes, of course. But when you want to try to study that, okay, take a look how actually I move my hands right now using the cursors to draw those eyebrows there. To study the shapes there first. Okay, take a look how actually I draw them, guys. How actually I control the pressure at the same times. Okay. How actually draw those hairline for example, the shapes of the hair there, right? So control basically those hair there, okay, see? This part basically are going to be a bit more softer there, right? I'm using red color there, guys, not because of I want to change it, but I want to show you guys the the strokes that I actually apply from here there, okay? When I actually draw the stroke, okay, from this part, okay, why actually I draw from these areas there? Because I want to make those strokes from these areas to get a bit more softer there, right? Okay? Because you cannot control sometimes. I can control them there, guys. See, I can control them if I change the directions there. But some of you guys can't, okay? That's why I show you guys how it goes from here to draw the hairline. Why I draw basically this area is a bit more thicker than this one there, okay? Because of the shadows line there, guys. All right, shadows line there. See? So it's not all about, okay, you can actually use those artificial kind of brushes that people that some of the design have been created, okay, for artists there, okay, like hairbrush strokes there, okay, hairbrush kind of strokes, hairbrush kind of what we call that styles there, okay. But right now we're using basically ink brushes, but we still can develop basically those strokes for those hair. See, strokes for those hair, right? You see how soft is it, right? So practice your hands, your line according to those methods there, right? Okay, see how actually I draw this part, right? Okay, by right there, okay, if I want to study basically the shapes of it, right? Okay, sometimes I can actually increase the size like 25 point there, right? Okay, of sizes over here, but still can control the size of those strokes here. See, you see that, right? How actually I move then. So learn from observing, guys. Really important there. Whatever that you guys see right now, okay, from your reference, right? Don't look as obstacles there. Look carefully how actually I move my hands right here and try to get it right at the same time, right? Try to follow steps, especially for those who have a weakness in their drawing skills. On their drawing skills there. You need to improve them back. Okay, this one there, okay, how actually I draw them. Can you see there, right? How I actually draw them here? Slowly I move my hands, all right, to draw the shapes of it. Even though we can draw the basic structures there first there, right? Okay, understand, okay? But people basically when they actually design, when they actually develop this kind of basic structures there, right? They still did not know basic how to break down the shapes. So sometimes I would say that, okay, to some of the students, okay, the shapes of the circles over here, big circle, small circle, okay. What's the point? Basically, you draw the structures if you don't understand it, right? One of it, you don't pay attention there. The second thing is you don't seek for more information there, right? Okay, you don't seek for more information when you draw them. You just assume that you understand and you try them there, right? Okay, all right. And of course, the line works that they produce a little bit more worse than before there, okay, when they want to draw them, the shapes. Okay, that's why when I actually show some of this, okay, how actually I develop basically the skull that basically form, all right, form basically the whole, what we call that, shapes of these ladies there, okay. How actually I form them, okay, how actually I develop them, right, okay. because I have my own studies that actually have been show you guys that before to work on that. Okay, I seek for more information there. I did not learn all this kind of stuff there, guys. Okay, from my lectures there. Okay, so that's why, okay, some of those informations that we want to seek for there, okay, it doesn't have to be came from our lesson in our schools there, okay, but it's a part of the journey to develop that kind of understanding, okay, to develop your own research here. All right, basically this is basically those what we call that. You don't have to draw this one directly if you don't understand them, but I just want to show you guys how actually I develop those understanding rather than just draw all these kind of things from those reference there, okay? Because as a designers, as a illustrators, and also artists, you need basically to seek more information. It's like a scientist there, okay? If the scientist just learn something or do some of the research based on the books or based on what they've learned from their university when they study there, okay, how come they can find the vaccine or the cure for this pandemic there, okay, this COVID-19 there, okay? Okay, how basically there, right, this coronavirus there, even though they actually still seek for more kind of what we call the research from there, right, but they don't actually just apply something what they've learned inside those universities there. They actually develop more further those kind of research from there, right? Okay, and it's not that easy there. Okay, what you guys learn right now is not to find a cure for coronavirus there, right? But to solve your problem, to develop the right kind of strokes only there. Okay, right kind of strokes only here. So from here there, okay, some people, I can assure that, okay, this person that you draw become Asian, become Oriental kind of women there, okay? I'm not saying that you cannot draw according to those kind of what we call that needs there, okay, of your what we call that experience there. But you want to study more better, even though I didn't seek for any kind of detail there, okay? Can you see how actually I draw those eyebrow right here? Okay. I stop carefully there, okay, to draw them. To study the whole reference there. Some people might say, right, okay, oh, we just trace them, so there, okay. Can you trace properly there, right? As you ask yourself back again. Some people who thought basically they're tracing them right, still cannot doing right. So that means you're not tracing them. You still draw them, but you assume that you trace. And when you trace them, you still doesn't get that kind of understanding when you draw them. You understand what I mean there? All right? There's a difference between tracing and drawings there. Right now, what we do, right, okay, am I tracing? If I'm tracing, this is the tracing outline there, okay? We trace them, but we draw on top of it. When you trace, okay, why actually cannot trace properly there? If you say you trace. All right, if you say this is the trace kind of lesson there, right? For example there, why don't you trace exactly as what I show right now? Why? Answer that question back again to yourself there. You say basically, some of you guys go, oh, I'm just tracing there, right? Okay. You set in your mind that you trace, and obviously you don't trace it well. If you really say that you trace there, right? One of the reasons is simple there, right? Because you're not trying to trace them there right now. You try to draw them back using the methods, the techniques to improve your way of moving your hand there, right? Okay? As a part of your drawings kind of methods. I actually create this kind of methods, okay, for the students there. Okay? Not because to give you guys an easier path. I know basically most of you guys still doesn't get the easiest path on that, right? But the thing is right now, if you check look how actually I solve some of the problems here, it's about the drawings methods there that I'm going to apply there, okay? Draw the ears there, for example, over here. Can you see the line works that I produce here? Quality of line works that I produce. And actually, am I actually try to get the whole things as what you see inside your, what we call that, in your, on your eyes there, okay? Within your eyes? No, there, okay? I develop basically back again the drawing strokes based on this reference there. Because not everyone can actually learn the whole thing fundamentally, okay, like some of you guys who really can draw well. That's why I give you guys some of these examples over here to move your hands according to the strokes. Press a little bit your strokes over here and loose a little bit when you actually want to release them, okay, in order to create the right kind of movements of your own hands. See, I'm drawing some etchings with, okay, to develop back again your skills. We learn to develop drawings there, guys, but using this kind of methods, right, drawing on top of it, as you, some of you guys see tracing there, right, okay? Because this is a method basically just to improve basically how to control your hands. Because if I give you guys, okay, some exercise, okay, some exercise, all right, that you cannot trace, you cannot draw on top of it, you just draw beside them. I think 80% or 85% from your groups there, okay, or most of the groups, okay, are not going to be doing well there. Why? One of the reasons, because of the online sessions. We don't actually use an advantage of this online session. Advantage there, not disadvantage there. Advantage of our online sessions there. All right, the digital kind of tools, media that I actually introduce you guys to help you guys to develop more understanding, not to make it worse. Remember that, not to make it worse there. And most of those people, professional, have done the same methods as what I actually have shown you guys here. Trust me on that. Most of them. Okay? So why don't you try these techniques and practice a little bit more further to develop your skill first, later on, when you have grown yourself, to develop that kind of confidence. Drawing is all about confidence there, guys. Okay? When you have developed your confidence, okay, how to draw this part basically there, okay? I'm going to draw the shadows line up here. Press a little bit kind of line from those hair there, guys, okay? So this part basically has a highlight, okay? You guys can see that, okay? Using your eyes there, right? The highlights. I didn't actually touch them sometimes. But when I basically move my hands right here, okay? When I move my hands right here there, guys, you know what I do? I let it flow naturally, right? Everything that you do there, okay? Let it flow naturally there, guys. Always there, right? See, do I move my hands over here to draw those, what we call that? I didn't actually trace them, the whole thing. I tried to gather those kind of line works from here, okay? To give more kind of natural kind of movements. Okay, etching lines over here, okay? Draw the etching lines over here a bit and over here a bit there. And right here a bit there, okay? What I actually asked you guys, okay, have asked you guys to work, all right? Follow basically my lead there, okay? And then you can improvise from what you see from here. So if I want to add a bit kind of like very soft kind of what we call that shadings, to have some shadings of gradients there, okay? You see how actually I move my hands over here? Really softly, but back and forth, okay, kind of movements. Back and forth kind of movements, but control those pressure at the same time. There, right? See? Let it flows there. It came with the practice there, guys. I'm not saying it's going to be easy there, okay? But It's all about your wrist there, right? You control your wrist, you control your action, you control your movements there. Be brave to change, make some changes on the movements at the same time there, right? You see that? Whatever that you're going to do, right? Okay, it's not just to complete those line works. Okay, let's just say that I want to draw basically some of the line works over here, right? Can you see how actually I draw them there? I'm still basically using the drawing strokes there, guys, not tracing strokes there, right? Get to work with it, see? Let it go naturally there, guys, naturally there. And when you actually let the things go naturally and at the same time you improve your line works each time you move your hands, all right, the whole kind of illustrations become a bit more natural there, okay? You will get the perfections that you never thought you can get from these lessons. Okay, let me actually save the file there first. Okay. Never basically okay, trust those technologies here. Even I'm working with technologies, right? Okay, but I never trust them. Why? Because it will crash anytime they're working. So guys, from here, when you have had basically those understanding there, okay, on adding those kind of shadings and shapes, okay, I just put it aside over here first, okay, there. So what you can do next there, okay, let's just say close this. I don't want to make you guys confused, right? Okay, guys, okay, don't get confused. Okay, sir, are we going to draw the skulls? If you think that you can actually study more further on those skulls, which is I actually have shown you guys how actually I do some manipulations from here, there, guys. Okay, from the lessons that I did in this sessions over here, if I'm not mistaken, there, right? I show some of you guys, basically, I have shown you guys on the lecture there, right? How I actually draw the skulls. Oops. Am I? Construct the line. Okay. Construct the line there, right? I don't know whether I put those skulls right here or to the another lessons there, right? To this part there, right? Yeah. Okay, you guys can see them back. How I actually manipulate them, right? Okay, those kind of skulls here. But what I actually have added, right? Okay, if I want to show you guys a bit more further here, I actually I'm using basically this reference. Okay, this reference here. Oops. Okay, with this reference that I have here, right? What I can do, copy them. I'm paste right here, scale. Okay, I'm using those image manipulations kind of methods a bit there, okay? And of course, okay, from these positions, I have to exaggerate a little bit the shapes there, right? Okay, the skull shapes there. Okay, because it's not the real kind of skull from this girl there, right? Okay, this woman there. So from here, basically, they're right. Okay, I reduce the opacities, right, to see some of the connections that I can get from these positions there. Is it right? Okay, am I can actually write what I actually missed from here, basically the right this part there, basically, okay, because our fifth not only right here, okay, they're going to be cover this part there, okay. Yeah. So this is a good thing that to study there, okay, but It's not compulsory for everyone who would actually want to have, but if you want to challenge yourself, go ahead. Right, okay? Because it's very interesting for you to understand, okay, the whole structures when you want to draw them. All right, when you want to draw them, all right. But it doesn't mean that you have everyone should actually apply that, okay? Because for me, I think if you seems quite difficult and complex to understand, don't push yourself there first. What you need to do to draw the strokes in the right way there first, and then what you can do from here, it's time for you to add some shadows there. Okay, shadows there, right? But the shadows also been formed, okay? Some of us, they paint the shadows like this without controlling the flows. Okay, controlling the flows there, okay? I'm reducing the flows, okay? I'm reducing the flows, okay, when I actually want to paint it, right? So while I paint it, okay, I'm reducing the flows, and then I'm going to change the size frequently. You see that, right? When I want to start to, okay, the highlight came from this side and this are the directions there, right? So I'm going to paint basically the shadows there first, okay? I'm going to cover the shadows area there, okay? Change the size frequently there, guys. This part has a shadows line. Right here. Shadow shapes there. Slowly work on that. Change the size of the brushes, okay, for the lips. But not too much there, right, okay? Some people basically just simply paint everything a little bit more dark kind of tone there, right, okay? For me, though, it's better for you to, what we call that, plan to add some shadings very light and soft there first. Okay? Before you're going to add a little bit more details there. Okay? No need to cover the whole core shadows. Right? Obviously, too dark there, right? You see that, okay? Look carefully to the reference, like when you draw, when you paint it, right? So slowly, basically, okay, the whole thing become naturally, okay, will be kind of like the shapes of the shadow from here, okay, come from here, change the size, works on that first. It will came naturally there, guys, okay? It's just the size when you paint it, or when you actually add some shadows there. See? Slowly there, right, okay? It will came naturally there, guys, at the look. And of course, the shadow is nothing, okay, without the strong kind of form from your line works. The shadow is nothing without basically the strong core from your line works there. That's why I always emphasize on the stroke first, right? Okay? Some people thought that, oh, they want to paint there first and then the line works. Make it simple, so okay. Not all people can paint really well if the line works were not good enough there, okay? But if you improve your line works there first, your paintings become your secondaries right now, okay? Because painting takes time there, okay, rather than drawings there. So you must be able to know your smart move there, okay? Where the directions that we want to go first, okay, at your limitation of times. We have the limitation of time these days, guys, okay? I always felt that, okay? 7 days a week, 5 days of working sometime there, okay? They actually pass by through our time, okay, quite fast rather than those days there. I felt that, these days. It really felt that way. I don't know whether you guys felt the same thing or not. Okay? Really pass by really fast there, right? Okay? Suddenly, right, okay, there's a Friday, okay, and then when weekend, okay, and weekend, and also okay, they're going to be a very short weekend, right? Okay? Not like the those days there, okay, that I felt. That weekend basically is like quite long weekend that we feel there, okay. So guys, see, control the pressures on the shapes and shadows there. Then slowly you can actually manage your kind of drawings later on back again. Methods that you can use as a professional kind of works here, but we made it into the foundations and fundamentals kind of works there. See, look back again to your reference and compare to what you actually have done there, right? Okay? What basically we did right now, only for a few minutes there. I actually taught you guys how to complete your works in a short time. The techniques that I show you guys. You don't have to spend 2 or 3 days to draw one single drawing there. Such a waste of time. Because you're comparing back again, Raki, when you learn this, Raki, the right methods there, Raki, comparing how much people are going to pay you there. If you're going to spend only 50 ringgit that people pay you, but you have to work for 3 days, that's basically the worst thing that happens to the services there, right? So work 50 ringgit for a few minutes. Okay. Like me, basically, they paid me by hours there, right? By hours there. Okay. So they have a certain kind of rates. So I will work based on rate, but sometimes I did not basically I give some sort of extra basically, okay, especially for the students there. I always give some extra hours. Like I didn't actually claim anything there right from there because I know basically my part basically I want to give more for the students there. I can remember that. Okay, by right, I can charge you more than okay, but I don't want to, okay, because I know basically my responsibility from there. Okay, so I love basically to share my sessions, okay, with my student at the same time that works on that. So hopefully you feel a little bit more grateful, right? Because I will here to work on that. And now, when you have this kind of understanding on those kind of strokes, then you can actually add it more and more, right? One of the way that you can add the writing, one of the most thing that I always use, I'm using a pencil brush sometimes or ink brushes, right? I'm going to start to draw some highlight there, right? See, this is not white colors there, the highlight again. To enhance a bit more on our drawings here. Highlight that. You guys can use also those ink and pen that works on that. Okay. We try to work on that because it will give you more kind of what we call that different kind of feel on your own illustrations over here. Okay. Obviously, that's my demonstrations, okay, to you guys back again how to control all these kind of shadows and shades. I didn't plan to draw all these things a bit more perfectly, remember that, but it came naturally when you actually doing your proper kind of studies there, right? On your own illustrations there, right? On your own kind of studies of illustrations there. Okay, any questions? Any questions there, guys?
No.
Nope. All right, one of you guys, please share your screen. Anyone, okay? I want to see how actually you guys work with this kind of projects there, right? Okay. So we have 2 different kind of animals there, okay, that we are actually going to study there. You guys can take a look back again, okay, according to my kind of demonstrations, okay, on those wolf, which is I have been drawn, okay, on one of my demonstrations there for group 1, if I'm not mistaken, is that right? So you guys can take a look those kind of demonstrations from there. Okay, how I actually draw those wolf. Okay, I also mix around also my kind of drawings here with those white colors kind of techniques, right? Using those highlighter, okay, to work on that. Oh, one more thing that I want to show you guys here. All right, how actually I draw basically these glowing kind of effects there, okay, just like a photographic kind of glowing there, okay. Okay, this is also one of the methods that I actually have done a lot there, okay, in my illustrations there, okay, before. So let's just say, okay, I have two different kind of layers over here. You can see, like, the shadows, nothing there, guys, okay, without the strokes there, right? So basically, this is the shadows kind of layers. These are going to be those drawing. Okay. Okay, now basically I'm going to add another layers, okay, for the backgrounds, right? Okay. So which is I'm going to use, I'm using basically, let's just say I'm using soft brushes there, right? Okay, soft round brushes, any kind of soft brushes, it will do there, right? Okay. That's the size a bit. Sorry there. I'll just change basically the colors a little bit there, right? Okay, let's just say I'm using these soft brushes over here, all right? Adjust the size a bit. It's too much there, right? Too much there. Okay. So what I can do from here, right? Using, I think I'm going to use these hard round brushes, okay? But I'm changing the colors there into white colors there. And of course, I always adjust the flows and I pop up those kind of circles right here, okay? Okay. Pop only there, okay? Pop only there, okay? And those kind of, if you guys are going to learn photography later on, there has one of those techniques that we call, like, I remember, okay, the names of it there, right? So it will give you some of the glow effects, especially when you do some blur effects, some glowings, okay, in night kind of photography sessions there. I can't remember the name, okay, because I did not teach photography for quite some time there, okay. I remember the name sometimes, okay, too old for that. You see that, right, guys? They give basically some glowing kind of effects from here. Okay, some glowing effects, like a blur effects, a bit more momentums of those kind of visuals there. Okay, that's it basically. Okay, some of the tips there, right? Okay? I can give you guys more because I want you guys to focus on a certain kind of methods, but this one can be made as a part of your finishing of your works there. Okay, finishing of your works there, right? Okay, any questions? No questions there? All right, anyone want to share screen? Please share your screen there, right? So let us basically see how far you guys go from there. We still have more time there, right? Okay, to work on that. Anyone want to share screen right here, right now? Any questions? Any kind of inquiries? Please let me know there, right? Learn one step at a time. And of course, guys, okay, the book of reference that actually have been given to you guys, please take a look there, right? Okay. And of course, okay, those kind of books are really, really what is called useful for you, not only for this semesters, for the rest of your lessons later on, right? Okay. The Art of Animals drawings, right here. Anyone want to share screen there? All right, open up your webcam for a while there, guys. Okay, you saw directly. Thank you very much. All right, open up your webcam for a while there, guys. You know, I can actually open up my webcam over here. I want to share one more things here, right? Okay. Okay, the books itself. Okay, Yusong, can you actually close your mic first? All right, the basic structures. Okay, we actually have done also some exercise using our working with the horses that before that. Okay, take a look how actually draw the basic structures of the horses at the same time here, right? Okay, the deer there, right? Okay, bear basically. Okay, all the basic form instructed, they break down into the shapes and use the line of actions that form basically the whole structures at the same time there. Okay, and they also study basically the skull, okay, that form basically the muscle connections there. Okay, that kind of thing also really important there for you guys to understand again. Even though you don't want to draw them, but if you check look back again, absorb all this kind of knowledge there, guys. Okay, by look at things there, and then learn a little bit more further to study how actually they draw the line works there. Right? All those kind of things will give you a bit more kind of informations there. All right, the line of action that form basically the structures of those bear there, right? So all this kind of thing that have been explained there, okay, on demonstrations there. Even though I don't actually add a bit more detail from there, but this book can help you to gain more understanding. Right? All right. So here you go there, guys, okay. I see Netino actually have been grown there, okay, with a beard there, right? Right, on this PKP there, right, Netino there, right? You don't shave also there, right? All right, guys. Okay, thank you very much there, guys, okay. You saw basically want to share screen there just now. Thank you very much for sharing there, okay. I can actually open up my webcam over here there, okay. I don't know what happens here. I'm afraid basically the connections are going to be ruined, basically my kind of what we call that connections later on. All right. All right, Yusong, share your screen. Let me share that. Let me see that, okay, how actually you guys work. I think I have to share also my screen together, okay, with you there, Yusong. Okay. Now you saw that, okay, when you draw those kind of line work for those hair, just like what I actually showed you guys before there, okay, increase a little bit more on those pressures when you want to move your hands, okay. Right now when you draw that, okay, you draw one single line. When I draw them, okay, I frequently move my line back and forth there, okay, to draw the strokes. All right, look back again how actually I move my hand is not, okay, back and forth when I move my hands there. That's how actually we control the pressures of those hair, okay, when you draw them. Look carefully, closely to your reference when you want to draw them. You can press a little bit more, okay, control a bit more on the pressures at the same time, right? Because if you want to draw this part of the head, okay, can you actually recall back again how actually and where basically I start to draw those strokes there, right? Sometimes I draw, okay, in different directions to get the strokes a bit more like a gradient, can have been soft in the edges there, right? Soft in the edges there. Try to get consistent basically on the shapes of those hair there, okay, you saw at the same time. Right now, basically, there is no consistent on the hair kind of strokes there, okay, according to the shadows that you saw from those hair. All right, get the consistent kind of line there, okay. Otherwise, they get a little bit more like a massing out there, okay. Later on, you can improve more further from there. Can I see how I actually draw those eyebrows back again? Too rough, okay, the eyes at the same times. I think this kind of drawings can be part of your sketches. Don't submit them, right? Then you improve back again later on. Understand, you song? All right. Don't do it as part of your final works over here.
Yes, yes.
Okay, this is a part of the try and error there, okay? Okay, continue the Mason. Can I see back again how I actually draw those eyebrow properly, eyes properly, right? Okay, the nose properly there, okay? Because right now what you do basically you're just tracing them there, okay? The nose. I didn't draw the nose like this one there, right? Okay. You look back again to what I actually have shown you guys, okay, previously, but in my demonstrations right here, I can share with you guys. All right, can you see my screen over here there? Everyone? Okay. Take a look there, okay, how actually I draw the nose there. Using two different brushes there, right? I'm using pencil brushes and I'm using also my ink brushes there, okay? Take a look that you saw there, okay? I didn't trace them, but I draw the strokes there, right? The eyes, the lips, the eyebrows, okay? But this is basically a very fast sketch there, right, okay? I try to produce over here. Can you see how actually I add some details on the eyes there, right? All this kind of thing I've been actually demonstrate to you guys before, right, okay? Either when I working with my traditional charcoal drawings and digitals, okay, I just apply the same methods, okay, to different kind of platform there, right? Okay, so you still work on that. Don't draw the line like that, okay, you saw. Don't draw the line like that, okay, one single line like that, okay, it's wrong already there. Okay, you're tracing them just now, okay. When you start, it's right there, okay. When you start those kind of line work, it's right, okay. When you start to move the eyelash to draw them, okay, it become weird, okay, it become worse there, okay. Draw carefully like that, okay. Yes, one stroke at a time there, right. Okay, press a little bit more further to add some details there, okay. You get some pressure line and strokes. All right, draw carefully that you saw, okay. I didn't draw the strokes like that for those eyebrows there. What is that? CC kind of eyebrow there, right? Draw properly those eyebrow there, okay. See, you were afraid that to move your kind of line strokes there, okay. All right, good start there, right. Okay, complete the eyes there first, okay. Complete the eyes there first. Okay, don't leave those kind of space over there, okay? Complete the eyes there first when you draw them. Don't just leave them there, right, okay? Without complete those kind of drawings.
So you mean here?
Yes.
Okay, okay.
It's not complete yet there, okay? That's basically the problem that we have normally there, okay? People don't basically, right, complete those kind of tasks. They jump into another what we call the elements to draw there, normally. Okay? You don't basically focusing on complete one task, okay? And then you start to move on there, okay? I didn't draw using soft brushes there, okay? I'm using soft brushes, use some after I complete my drawings. Okay? I didn't ask you to shadings there first. This is basically also the common issues that we have. Okay? People attempt to use mixed up those kind of what we call that tasks there, okay? Before they complete the whole thing there, okay? See? Why actually you don't draw the pupil there, right? Okay? Draw the pupil properly lah. Can you see the pupil over there?
What is pupil?
Yeah, can you see that, right? Draw the pupil properly, then you draw them back and add some shadings using the same drawing methods for the iris there. Can you saw the pupil there? Okay, I didn't shade like that. So, right. Look back again to my reference there. To the sample that I did basically there, right? How actually I overcome the pupil there, right? Okay? The shapes of the pupil there, okay? And the iris at the same time. That's what I say, you don't actually watch carefully. A lot of you guys don't watch carefully there, right? I don't know what basically you guys watching while I'm actually doing those demonstrations there. Okay? Work on that right again.
Okay.
Every time basically when I draw something there, right? Eyes, reference of eyes or whatever there, right? I always complete all those elements together. Okay? So the point is right now, you don't actually complete them. Close your mic there, right, Chris? So I've shared also one of my drawings that I combined together with those wolves there, right, okay? Let me basically save this file. All right, week 9 demo for group 1 there. So you guys can check back again how it goes. But the point is right now, you guys don't actually look carefully. Most of the sample that I actually have shared with you guys here. That's the thing there, right? When I demonstrate to you guys, you don't look carefully from there. That's why you keep doing the same mistakes all the time there, right? While you draw. You don't actually focusing. Because when I draw eyes there, right, okay, I have drawn a lot of eyes there before. But you don't actually use them as a part of your kind of methods to understand that. All right, look carefully there, okay? How I draw the nose, the lips, the back again. Okay, don't just shade them up. Okay, draw the pupil at the same time there first. Don't press too much basically when you draw those pupil there, right? Okay, control basically the pressure that you saw. Don't color the whole thing into darkness there, right? Okay, don't color the shadows too dark there, okay? The shades that get too dark there first. All right, draw the shapes there first, the shapes of those pupil and the iris there, okay, before you shading them. Do you hear me there, okay, you saw?
Yes, yes.
Okay, work on that. Guys, okay, learn also from here there, okay? My cameras doesn't work, guys. Don't draw the eyelash like that, right? Okay, the eyelash should be the suggestions only there, okay? They make look like a fake kind of eyelash when you draw like that. That's what I say, okay? You try to trace the whole thing. You not draw them there, okay? That's why it doesn't look right there. I think you start to you begin to understand there, okay? Good, right? Okay, you saw there, okay? Continue them there. Control the breath. Now we want to see how actually draw the nose there, right? Are you sure to draw the nose like that there, right? Are you sure? We draw back again there, right? I did not actually add some shadings like that there. Start with the line strokes there first there. Are you sure the nose like that? I didn't start to draw the nose like that there, right? I will draw in the top bottom of this nose there. Okay, bottom of those nose there, okay? I start with the bottom of those nose there, right? Okay, the nostril, the shapes of the middles there, right? Okay, to draw them. Yusong. Okay. I think basically your size of those brushes also has to be changed there, right? Okay. Normally, I'm going to maintain around 10 point and right when I draw them, right? Okay. Okay, how big is it basically the size of it? Okay, maybe 250 dpi there, right? If you use that 250 dpi, maybe you can add a bit more further, like 15 point of size there. I didn't start to draw those like that. I start from the bottom there, right? Look carefully to the shapes of it. Okay, zoom in a little bit, okay? Draw the strokes right, okay? Develop the structures right there first. Don't press too much on the nose trail there, right, okay? Because they're going to look weird on those line works there. Are you sure? There's no straight from the left side there. Okay, look weird there. Okay, you saw. So when I draw basically there, right? Okay, look carefully there. Okay, how actually I construct the line over here. Can you see the guys? From mine, from my positions over here. Wait up, where is it mine? Okay, there, right. This is you saw. Where's mine there, right? Look carefully there, guys. How actually I draw the nose line there, right? Okay, very soft line to draw on top of it. And the thickness are going to be cover these areas there, okay? But this is not the only way there, but basically this is one of the proper way for you guys to start with. Okay, to start with there, right? And then following with the lips there, right? I didn't combine the line of the lips there. Can you guys take a look here? You guys see that, right? So work on that, Yusong there, right? So the rest of you guys don't make the same mistakes there, okay? Yusong is basically very manly, brave there, okay, to show her kind of progress. Good there, right? So erase those middle part right first. So, and then we draw back again. The middle part, okay, the nose, okay, draw back again carefully there, right? Are you sure, Yusong? Look weird there, right? All right, guys, take a look at guys, okay? That's what I said, okay? If you say this techniques, this method is easy there, okay, even though I look make those terms look easy to you guys, okay, but still cannot make it right. How actually going to work with your imagination drawings there, guys? Okay, how actually going to work with your imagination drawings there, guys? So you thought you can draw your own characters? No. Draw human face. Also, you have some difficulties there. How actually going to draw your own characters there, right? So it won't be happens there for this semester, right? Because you don't develop your kind of core understanding, even though you have basically those reference in front of you. Okay, check out how actually I draw them back. Okay. Okay, if I don't have any reference with me, like some of you guys have there, right? How actually I'm going to draw them? You guys can see my screen there, right? Are these mine? You guys can see my screen, right?
Yes, can.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Now, take a look over here. Okay, HSM start with these pencil brushes there, right? Draw the nose there. From this side of positions there, right? Okay. Okay. Two diamonds, okay, triangles there, but not basic. This is basically 3/4, guys, not frontal there, right? Okay. From this side, one circles, two circles, and small circles over here, right? See, actually I drawn that, right? Okay, circles there, right? Basically, this is going to be the eyes here, okay. So how I'm actually going to draw them back? Okay, how actually I move my hands that you saw? Take a look here. See? Can you guys see that, right? How I actually draw this? Let's just say the line going to be combined over, but I did not basically draw the whole line, because why? Because later on we're going to shade them up, the shadings there. See the nose from the side? We'll draw them small there, I think. That's why. So if I want to draw from out of nowhere there, okay, the nose. You see that, right? I'll actually draw them. The line works itself there, right? From this side. How actually I move my hands basically to draw those structures at the center without those kind of constructive line there. Understand basically those kind of line works there. I didn't draw the whole line works there. This is not drawings there, guys. Drawings, basically we lose a little bit kind of line over here, soft a little bit, and when we continue them back to this top there right here. That's how we draw there, right? One of the way, not the only way there, okay? But one of the correct way for you guys to start with. Okay, when you get this kind of this kind of constructive line, later on you want to improve more on those details. Yes, you can, right? Okay. Okay. Well, that's fine, right? Okay, now. Okay. If I want to add some of the details, yes, I can, right? Okay. Maybe using basically this kind of line works that we want to apply that. Okay? But this is basically a rough kind of what we call that structures that I actually draw strokes based on those line work came from the 3/4 view there, okay? Frontal view also going to be applied the same thing there, okay? I will start with this. Even though I'm going to draw using this kind of brush strokes there, right? You see there, right? Where basically I start with when I draw. Basically, right, the same thing. There is a pattern there, guys, okay? Why I draw this kind of strokes of it? If the light came from this side, the shadow fall off right here. That's why I draw the strokes right here, okay? It's not basically draw according to what I like there, right? Okay, but according to the shadows that form from the side there. Front view. Side profiles, nose, shapes. See? Side profiles there. Take a look carefully, lah. How actually I draw them. But when you have those reference with you, it's more easy for you to understand there, right? But the problem is you don't look carefully. That's why I say that, okay? You don't look carefully while you draw them. That's why you make all these kind of mistakes there. By right that you have your reference clearly there, okay, in front of you and you want to draw that, okay? Even though you want to draw this one there, okay? This women kind of photos there, right? You don't look carefully while you draw them. That's why you make mistakes. You don't know where to start there, okay, to work on that. You don't know where to start there, okay? You don't see those things clearly there, okay, when you draw. That's why I say you don't look carefully while you draw there, right? This part basically, okay, that form basically the nose. This is a drawing, guys. This is not copying from photos there, okay, only there, right? See? This part basically, where basically the nose shape is going to be turned off there, okay? It's going to turn out like that, right? Okay? The shapes over here. So the shadows that actually form, basically from my etchings, will form basically those kind of line works for those nose there. And what I can do from here, I can actually form another shapes line over here to form basically the structures of her nose. Basically, her nose basically have two different kind of shapes there, okay, that form basically her formation of the muscle from those nose there. So from here, if I want to add some sort of like the line works for those nose, I will use soft brushes to add some shadings later on. See? Shadings there that form basically the nose correctly there, right? There. Look carefully how actually I start to develop the constructive line when I draw them. Same goes to this reference over here. Okay, I don't know how many times I show you guys, but you don't look carefully there. Okay, this pictures is more clear. You can see there. Right? You guys can see more clear from this picture. Right? For this reference there. Where to start? Okay, you can see the shapes of it. Okay, that's why I say you don't see things carefully there. You don't look carefully to your reference, right? You need to look at her just like you fall in love with her. Right? I'm not saying that you fall in love, what we call that occasionally there, okay, or basically literally there, okay, but you need to find yourself to like your reference while you draw, not just because of some stupid or shit stuff that you have to complete your test on it, right? But you need to apply and you need to learn to love what you're going to draw there first. So when I actually look at her there, okay, right now, can you see there, right? Where I'm going to start with? I can press a little bit more further right here. You saw? Don't try to hesitate there, okay? You hesitate because you don't understand basically where you're going to start with. If you look carefully how actually I move from starting point until these moments over here, okay, the shadows that if we fall off over here, I will draw basically the line works a bit. Soft line kind of works there. And the rest of it basically are going to be a part of those shadows. Okay, just the size. And then I'm going to form the shadows and change the size frequently according to those. Because a lot of we can find a lot of solutions there, right? Okay? But I show you guys, okay, most of the important way basically you can start. You can actually write. This is not like a textbook, say guys, okay? You just learn everything what you saw, but you cannot improvise. Because what I do basically right now, can you see that, right? Okay? I make a lot of changes there from this part, but it still look the same, look right. That's what I say, okay? There's a lot of way basically you guys can produce. Not this is the only way there, okay? But you can basically improvise later on once you get it right. The problem is you're not getting right just now. That's why I keep on asking you to work on it. Comparing to what you do just now and what I produce here is a matter of where basically you're going to start there, right? And how actually you're going to construct those lines there. That's why there's a lot of methods how to work and to develop your understanding when you want to draw basically human nose there, okay? But you have me basically right now, okay? That show basically how it works. And you actually can actually improvise them later on if you want to. Okay? Draw the eyes just now. You don't even complete those kind of drawings, you start to draw other things there. So I'm using 8 size of point there, okay? You see that, right? Even though I can start with this line from here. Then draw another shapes over here, right? You see that, right? For some reason, okay, if you seems to hard to understand, okay, just follow back again how actually I move here. Slowly. Okay, this is basically the pupil there, right? From the iris that I can see from those reference over here. If you actually reduce a little bit, look carefully, you can see those pupils over here. Look carefully there, guys. Use your eyes to look carefully there, right? Don't just imagine them there, right? Or assuming that. You assume there's eyebrows over here, yes, there's the eyelash over here, okay? But when you draw them, they become fake there, okay? Why become fake? Because you trace. You apply those tracing methods there. When you have that kind of line works carefully that you have done, then you actually can improvise them. See, is there any eyebrow over here? No, right? But when you look at it, okay, it's look naturally there. Okay, been worked. It worked naturally. Okay, this is the pupil that I can saw from here. See, you saw there, right? And I draw those. You can draw basically the eyelash a bit. Okay, but not too much there, right? Okay, because they're going to be look fake when you shade them up later on. When you get it right, then a highlight. Okay, you can see the highlight over here, small highlight kind of elements again. Even though you cannot see, right? If you follow basically what I did, what I did there, right? You will basically learn something from there. But the thing is, you don't basically. You see the way how it works? How it works here? There. I didn't color the whole thing. The point is, you don't follow basically there, right? It came naturally there. Eyebrows, even though the shadows over here, yes, of course, you try to draw the shadows there, right? You can apply those shadows later on, right? Okay? Because I don't know how many times actually I show you guys how to draw these eyebrows over here like this. You must be differentiate between drawings, strokes. Okay, now actually you can add some shadows basically if you want to. But right now you try to trace the whole thing, look the same, and it turned out to be worse there, right? Because you trace, you don't draw them, you don't follow basically the methods that I actually show you guys how it works there, right? To become a bit more naturally there. Okay. If you want to play with your drawings later on, yes, of course, all right, you can actually draw the eyebrows a bit more like this one or a bit more there, right? Okay. You can combine all together there. But we playing carefully and naturally there, okay, we play from that, okay? This one basically you guys actually can actually add a bit more thicker kind of what we call that eyelash or mask, what we call that mascara there, okay, I think there, okay? I don't know the names there, okay, from there. Okay, from the eyelash there, okay? To work on that. You can basically. But when you have understand how to develop that kind of strokes first there, okay? Properly, okay? While actually I work on it, I didn't use basically different kind of brushes right here. Size, point of size also, I'm still maintaining there, right? Okay, from here just now. I saw basically he's struggling, okay? The size of the brushes should be changed from here. I'm using 25. Can you see the way I move my hands there? You draw like this. You saw. All right? There's a time you can draw like that, right? That's basically some of the time you can draw like that. But right now, if I were to add some shadows from those hair there, right? See the way I move my hands right now. Then I change back in the size to get more kind of strokes naturally there, right? See? And I even complete my task. Okay? I didn't jump into another areas there to paint, to draw the right first there. So the problem is, right, you don't actually have that kind of stand over to your kind of task there. You don't complete the task yet, you just jump over to another problems there, right? And the problem that you try to solve right here is not complete yet, and you keep doing the same mistakes there. Can you see there right now there, right? How actually I draw and change the size frequently from 15, 10, 25 kind of sizes according to the shapes of those shadows. Am I actually explain the right words there? Shapes of the shadows. Is it right, Nathaniel?
Yes.
Right? Shapes of the shadows there, right? Is it?
Shape, or you can say texture, so lah. Texture.
Right. But text is a bit kind of educated, right? Okay, like more
Yeah.
like a more proper there, right? Okay. Okay, but if I use basically the layman kind of words, okay, it's the shapes of the shadows there from those hair, right? Okay. They can be also from the text there, okay. Thank you, Nathaniel, okay, for those words there, for those kind of what we call that the terms there, right? Okay.
Okay, thanks.
All right.
No problem.
So guys, okay, if you seems to see there, okay, if I want to use this kind of thing, because I sometimes I don't like to use this kind of thing sometimes, okay, because I know basically some of you guys basically still in the mood of what we call those what we call that turn around those kind of what we call that turn around those kind of what we call that those mindset from high school, from the normal kind of what we call that those kind of experience that you have before you enter those kind of what we call that this kind of what we call the educations kind of things there, okay, that actually change your life. I think 360 degrees there, okay, from your own time there, okay, zone there. So, of course, okay, if you take a look back again, the texture that it formed basically from the hairline there, okay, which is a part of those, the third kind of element of design there, right, okay. So if you take a look basically closely there, okay, when I draw them, I'm using the shadows kind of line and shape that works on that, okay, to create those kind of textures line for those hair shapes there. All right, okay, guys. So look carefully back again, you saw, okay, how much time that you spend to draw those hair, but it's not correctly. But when I change basically the size, 15, 25, 10%, okay, during the process of learning, during the process of working there, okay, it will give more kind of what we call that advantage for me to increase more understanding on my studies there. Okay, check a look there, guys. One of the shortcut key that I always use to make more easy for me to work, not go into this kind of size point or whatever that we call that, okay, to change the right. But I'm changing my keyboard right here, right? I'm using my left hand to change, increase, decrease the size, increase the size there of those brushes there, see? Using this, what we call that, this key there, right, okay? This is not a closed cap, open cap there, right? But this is basically the key basically I'm using there, okay? To decrease or increase the size of those brushes there, see? Okay. You see there, right? There. Size change. That's how actually it make me move more faster. For my movements of those design work or artworks, okay, I'm using basically space bar directly. Normally directly, space bar. When I zoom in directly, I'm using space bar directly to move. Space bar and move my tablet there, right? Okay. There. That's how it goes. All right. To zoom in and zoom out, sometimes I'm using basically control, negative, control plus. So my left hand normally are going to be on the keyboard all the times. Or I'm going to use control, space bar to zoom in, alternate to zoom out. All right, make it more faster. Power works there, right? Okay. Any questions? Hope you guys learned something from here, okay, today. And to develop more and more on your efficiency, on your kind of understanding to develop your studies there. So practice a bit more further from there, guys. Don't take for granted all these lessons there, especially to develop your skills. All right. Thank you very much, guys, for having me today. I'll see you guys on the next sessions. Good luck. Take care of yourself. Have a good weekend at the same time. Let's say improve your kind of drawings. This week's improve your strokes and line, okay, to work on that. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. I'll see you guys later on, okay? Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Song, okay, for your sharing.